Hello and welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about your story. And this is a part of the branding module that we really want to pay probably the most attention to at this point as you're just starting your business and getting things off the ground. And so this can be really helpful to do now. And this is going to help you start to connect with people online, okay? Because connecting with people online is different than connecting with people in person. And a big part of that is being relatable and sharing parts of ourselves. And I just want to say before we get into all of that, that what you share online is entirely up to you. Okay, so you're going to find parts of your story that, that something you went through, that you triumphed over, and that you're comfortable sharing, and that people will relate to you and go, oh, she understands or he understands. And now they can help me. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But, you don't have to share everything, okay? You can share the parts that you're comfortable with. So I just want to say that right off the bat because people a lot of times start to worry about that when I say sharing your story, okay? You always have control over what you share and what you don't share, okay? Think of lots of public personas, right? There's parts of their personal lives they share and parts that are more private. So you always have control over that. So what a good way to start with looking at your story is just to start doing some free-form journaling. Think about some events and experiences that you've had in your life that have been kind of significant and have shaped you. Okay, so you might just want to spend some time getting those down. And then you might want to think about what, of all these experiences and things that you've gone through, what can your clients or customers relate to? What's sort of pertinent to what you're doing now? Okay. And where can they, what stories can you bring out that you feel comfortable sharing, or what parts of them do you feel comfortable sharing? You don't have to share it all. Again, you totally have control over that. So start to think about is there a certain part of your story that you want to share and that will help people relate to you, right? Because we don't want to be just like, hey, I've got it all figured out. I know everything, come work with me, right? I mean, that sounds great, but I mean, it's a lot more interesting if you say, I went through this too. I understand what you're going through. I've been there. Here's what happened to me. Tell the personal story. And this is what I learned. This is where I'm at now. That's a lot more interesting and inspiring than just just starting your story at the top of the mountain. You want to talk about your journey to get there, right? So like for me, a story that I share quite a bit is how I was working in a business job. I was working an office job and working all the time, pouring my heart and soul into it, like so many people, right? Working night and day, like never having any time off, and just feeling like life was passing me by and I wasn't using, my gifts or my talents or the things I was meant to do. And then finally one day, it was a Monday morning, and, and just all of a sudden it was like a bolt of lightning. And this is actually really true. This is truly how it went down. And I was like, life, I just had this realization that life was too short. And so I waited after work that day and gave my notice to my boss, giving the proper amount of time and all that stuff, of course. But that was a real turning point for me in my life. And then I started doing creative work, and things have grown from that. So that's sort of the accelerated version of my story. But giving you an example of that's a story I use quite a bit for my coaching, where I'm talking to people who are in that situation a lot as well. They're working and they're feeling like there's something else, right? Doesn't mean it's terrible. Lots of things in our jobs we enjoy too. Lots of things I got out of my job that I was doing at that time. But there's another story to it. So you see how I've found a part of my personal story that people can relate to, and I have other parts too that I share in different ways and different aspects. But it does take a little bit of soul searching, a little bit of time to kind of go through and find the bits that you want to share, and to get comfortable sharing them, and to be able to find the words and to find the way. Great way to do it is to write it out and practice. Okay. And I'm having you do it now at this point in the program, so that you're going to start to tap into that, so that when we get to the point where we're marketing and you're venturing out into the world with your business, you're going to have some level of comfort with your story, and it's going to make you more relatable to your ideal clients out there. Okay, so what are some interesting bits about yourself, right? I mean, there must be some, usually we're not just like a straight black and white kind of person. There's usually something kind of interesting. So just write down all the little interesting bits about yourself. You can ask people who know you as well. And what are 5 things about your current life that you can talk about, like hobbies, pets, something, maybe you like to share stories about you and your spouse, something about your garden or your favorite shoes or where you like to shop or where you like to go on vacation, or it can be anything in your life that comes up for you a lot, right? Like for me, like I share a lot with my cats because I'm a cat lady. So I talk a lot about my cats, and my ideal clients usually find that entertaining, or they don't mind. It doesn't matter. But so I found certain things about me that I like to share and that people connect with. It gives you that human element. So it can be anything, right? So you can experiment with that, but start to think about it now. And if you want to get bonus stars for getting ahead of the curve, you can even start to test the waters by sharing some of these bits about yourself on social media, okay? Facebook, Instagram, whatever you use. Start to share different things. To get yourself some level of comfort if you're not doing that already. B, you can test to see what's working with people, like, what are people connecting with? Maybe there's something that's really interesting to you, but like nobody's responding, right? That's happened to me all the time. Sometimes I'll post food that I've cooked. I think it's the most fascinating thing in the world, but not that many people do. So, it's okay, but other people can do it and it's really interesting. So, we just find the things that seem to click with our audiences, okay? So you can start now, if you like, just starting to post different things, seeing what's connecting with people online, finding your voice. That's essentially what we're doing by developing your stories, finding your voice and sharing your stories, sharing bits about yourself. Again, this is all about navigating the online world, which can be amazing for connection, but it's different than in face, person to person. Okay, there's some crossover, but it can be different too. And we really want to bring the human element into it. We don't want to just come across as like a one-dimensional business, so you want to be a human when you come online. So go ahead and start sharing that now if you like, or at least preparing what it is you're going to share, so you can start developing your online voice and starting to make those connections with your ideal clients, right? Because this stuff takes time, right? We're cultivating relationships online. It can take a long time. There are a lot of people, I know people who have followed somebody for like 2 years before they signed up for one of their programs. That's pretty typical. It can be a lot less than that too. No, it's not like it always takes 2 years, but I'm just saying it can take a while for people to feel comfortable with somebody online. It's called the know, like, and trust factor. That's a term that's used a lot. So you're building the know, like, and trust factor. So have fun analyzing your story, or tapping into your story, I should say, and analyzing what it is that you want to share and what you want to, kind of make you seem more three-dimensional, more interesting online. Okay, so have fun, and I'll see you in the next module. Bye-bye.